When my daughter-in-law looked me in the eye and said, "This isn't your home anymore, Grandma," I didn't cry. I smiled. A small, tired smile that surprised even me. I stood in the kitchen holding a damp dish towel. The light above us flickered the way it always did when the bulb was about to go. Her words landed on my chest like a heavy hand. Not angry, just heavy. I had lived in that house for 42 years. I raised my son there. I buried my husband in the backyard rosebed. I watched grandbabies take their first steps on the same rug that still had a coffee stain from last Christmas. In one quiet Tuesday afternoon, it wasn't mine anymore. Let me take you back to how it all started. My name is Evelyn Harper. Most folks call me Evie. I am 71 now, though I don't feel a day over 50 when my knees cooperate. I married young, at 19, to a quiet man named Thomas who fixed tractors and loved lemon pie. We bought this little brick house on Maple Street with a loan from his uncle and a promise to pay it back in 10 years. We did it in 8. Thomas passed 12 years ago. His heart gave out while he was trimming the hedge. I found him sitting on the porch step with clippers in his lap looking peaceful. After the funeral, my son Daniel said, "Mom, come live with us." I said no. I wasn't ready to leave the place where every corner held a memory. The creaky third stair, where Daniel learned to count. The window seat where I read him bedtime stories. The kitchen table scarred from homework and birthday cakes. Life has a way of changing plans. 2 years ago, Daniel lost his job at the factory. The same week, his wife Lisa found out she was expecting their third child. Money got tight. Rent on their apartment went up. Daniel came to me one evening with his hat in his hand and asked if they could stay just until things settle. I opened the door wider. Of course, this house had room. It had love. It had me. Lisa was polite at first. She helped with dishes and asked about recipes and called me Mom in that careful way people do when they are trying. The kids, Emma 8 and little Jack 5, ran through the halls like the house was a playground built for them. I didn't mind. Their laughter filled spaces that had been quiet too long. I gave them the big bedroom upstairs. I took the smaller one for myself. I moved Thomas's old rocker to the corner so Lisa could nurse the new baby when he came. I even painted the nursery a soft yellow, the same color Daniel's room had been. Small things started to change, slowly. Like how you don't notice the milk souring until it's too late. Lisa rearranged the kitchen cabinets. She said, "It makes more sense this way, Mom." She moved my good china to the basement. She said, "We'll use it for special occasions." The special occasions never came. She bought new curtains, bright white ones that let in too much light. My old lace ones went into a box. She said they were dust collectors. I found them months later, folded neatly but yellowed from being forgotten. The kids stopped calling me Grandma in the same way. Emma started saying Miss Evie after Lisa corrected her once. She said, "She's not your grandma, honey. She's Daddy's mom." I laughed it off. Kids pick up what adults say. Then the comments began, quiet ones. "You must be tired after cooking all day, Mom. Why don't you rest? This house is so big for one person. Maybe when the baby's older we could think about options." Options. That word sat in my stomach like a stone. I kept busy. I baked. I gardened. I rocked baby Noah to sleep while Lisa scrolled on her phone. I told myself this was family. This was helping. This was love. Love shouldn't feel like being a guest in your own life. One afternoon I came home from the grocery store early. The rain had started and I didn't want the bread to get wet. I heard voices in the living room. Lisa's voice, bright and quick. "Yes, the finishes are original. Look at these floors, solid oak. The garden's huge, perfect for a young family." I stood in the hallway with bags in my arms, water dripping from my coat. A man in a gray suit was taking pictures with his phone. He nodded at Lisa like she owned the place. "How much are you asking?" he said. $420,000, Lisa answered without blinking. "It's a steal for the neighborhood." $420,000. That was the exact number from the tax assessment I kept in my desk drawer. The one only I knew. I stepped forward. The floor creaked under my shoe, the same creak it's had since 1987. Lisa turned. Her smile froze. "Mom," she said to Sweet, "you're back early." I didn't answer. I just looked at her, really looked. In that moment I saw it, not hate but something colder. Calculation. The man cleared his throat. "I'll follow up with the listing agent." He left quickly. The door shut with a soft click. Lisa folded her arms. "It's just an idea, Mom. You're getting older. This house is a lot to manage. The money could help everyone. Everyone. Not me." I set the groceries down. My hands were steady. This house isn't for sale. She laughed, a nervous sound. I was just exploring options. Options? There it was again. That night I didn't sleep. I sat in Thomas's old rocker, the one Lisa had moved to the attic. I brought it back down. I sat in it by the window. I watched the streetlight flicker. I thought about the day we moved in, how Thomas carried me over the threshold even though I told him I was too heavy, how we painted the kitchen yellow because I said it felt like sunshine, how Daniel learned to ride his bike in the driveway and scraped his knee so bad I cried harder than he did. This wasn't just a house. It was 42 years of mornings, of coffee on the porch, of birthdays and heartbreaks and quiet Tuesdays when nothing happened but everything mattered. Now someone wanted to sell it out from under me. The next morning I made coffee like always. Lisa was in the kitchen scrolling on her phone. She didn't look up when I came in. "Good morning," I said. "Morning." I poured 2 cups. I set one in front of her. She didn't touch it. "I've been thinking," I said. My voice was calm. "You're right. This house is big. Maybe it's time for a change." She looked up then. Her eyes got bright. "Really?" I nodded. "But I'll handle it. No need for strangers." She smiled real this time. "That's great, Mom. We can help. Look at listings together." I smiled back. "We'll see." That afternoon while they were out, I went to my room. I opened the bottom drawer of my dresser. I took out the folder I hadn't touched in years. Inside the deed, the mortgage papers paid in full, the will, everything in my name. I made copies. Then I called my lawyer Ruth. We went to high school together. She still had the same laugh. "Evie," she said, "you sound serious." "I am." I told her everything. The listing, the price, the way Lisa said everyone. Ruth was quiet a moment. "Do you want to sell?" "No." "Do you want them to leave?" I thought about it. About Emma's giggle, Jack's sticky hands, Noah's tiny fingers around mine. "Not yet," I said, "but I need to protect what's mine." Ruth helped me set up a trust. The house went into it, irrevocable. My name only. If anything happened to me, it would go to a charity for widows, not to Daniel, not to Lisa. I didn't tell them. I started paying attention. Lisa moved my photo albums to the basement. More space upstairs. She threw out Thomas's old work boots. "They're just taking up room." She told the kids grandma's tired, let her rest. So they stopped coming to my room for stories. I kept smiling. I kept baking. I kept rocking Noah when Lisa was too busy. Inside something was shifting, like ice cracking on a lake you didn't know was frozen. One evening Daniel came home late. He looked worn out. I was in the kitchen making tea. "Mom," he said, "Lisa says you're thinking about selling." I stirred the honey slow. I said I'd think about change. He sat down. "It would help us a lot. We could get our own place. Start fresh." I looked at him. My boy, 38 years old, still had the same cowlick in his hair. "This is our fresh start," I said. "Right here." He rubbed his eyes. "You don't understand how hard it is." I set the tea in front of him. "I understand more than you think." The turning point came on a Thursday. I had gone to the library, needed quiet. When I came back, the front door was open. I heard Lisa on the phone in the living room. "Yes, the owner's elderly. She's agreed to list. We just need to get the paperwork signed before she changes her mind." Elderly agreed. Paperwork. I stood in the doorway. She didn't see me. "Power of attorney," she was saying. "If we can show she's not capable." "Yes, I have a notary who owes me a favor." My heart didn't race. It just stopped. Then started again slower. I walked in. Lisa turned. Her face went white. Mom, I held up my hand. "I heard enough." She tried to laugh. "It's not what you think. I think you're trying to take my house." Daniel walked in then. "What's going on?" Lisa started talking fast. "Your mom's confused." She agreed. I agreed to think, I said, not to sign my life away. Daniel looked between us. "Mom, maybe it's time." "Time for what?" My voice was steady. "Time for you to choose between your mother and someone who lies to your face." Lisa's eyes filled with tears. "We're drowning, Mom. The kids need a home," I said. "This one, with their grandmother in it." Daniel opened his mouth, closed it. I looked at him. "You want to sell? Fine. Buy me out. $420,000. Cash. Tomorrow." He blinked. "Mom, we don't have then. This conversation is over." That night I packed a small bag. Not to leave, to prepare. I wrote a letter. One for Daniel, one for the kids, one for Lisa. I left them on the kitchen table. Daniels said, "I love you, but love doesn't steal. Come find me when you're ready to remember who you are." The kids said, "Grandma's going on a little trip. I'll be back. Keep my rocker warm." Lisa said you wanted options. Here's one. Leave with dignity, or stay and face the truth. Your choice. I moved into the guest room. I locked the door. I slept with the deed under my pillow. The next morning, the house was quiet. Too quiet. I went downstairs. The letters were gone. Lisa's car was gone. The kids' toys were packed. Daniel was in the kitchen drinking coffee. Alone. They left, he said. His voice was flat. I nodded. I poured myself a cup. She said you forced her out. I gave her a choice. He looked at me. His eyes were red. I didn't know, Mom. About the notary, the listing. I thought I know what you thought. We sat in silence. After a while he said, I'm sorry. I know. Lisa came back on a rainy Thursday afternoon. She stood on the porch with her coat dripping and her eyes red. I opened the door before she knocked. She looked smaller than I remembered. I was wrong, she said. Her voice shook. I let fear make me cruel. I stepped aside. Come in. Dry off. She walked past me slow. The house smelled like the chicken soup I had on the stove. She stopped in the hallway and looked at the family photos still on the wall. The ones she had moved to the basement. I had brought them back up. I made tea, she said. I didn't know what else to say. We sat at the kitchen table, the same table with the homework scars. She held the cup with both hands like it might slip. Daniel is at work, she said. The kids are with my sister. I needed to come alone. I nodded. I waited. She took a breath. I thought if we sold the house, we could start over. Pay the bills. Give the kids a yard. I told myself it was for them. But it was for me too. I wanted to feel safe. I wanted to stop worrying every night. I understand worry, I said. I worried when Thomas lost his job, when Daniel got sick at 7, when the roof leaked for 3 winters. Worry is loud, but it doesn't give us the right to take. She looked down. I know. I see that now. I see you. The rain tapped the window. We sat quiet for a long time. What happens next? I asked Dot. She wiped her eyes. I don't know. I just know I can't go back to how I was. I hurt you. I hurt Daniel. I hurt the kids by teaching them that love has a price. Love doesn't have a price, I said. But trust does. Trust costs time. Dot, she nodded. I want to earn it back. If you'll let me. I thought about the trust I had made, the deed safe in Ruth's office, the letter for the grandkids. I thought about the empty rooms upstairs. You can stay, I said, but not the same way. The basement is finished. It has its own door. You pay rent, real rent. You help with the house. You speak to me like family, not like a guest. She looked up fast. You mean it. I mean it. But one more lie and you're gone. For good. She started to cry then, not loud. Just quiet tears that ran down her cheeks and dropped into her tea. Thank you, she whispered. The front door opened. Daniel walked in with wet hair and tired eyes. He stopped when he saw Lisa. Mommy said. Then to her, you came back. She stood up. I had to. I needed to say sorry to your mom. And to you. Daniel looked at me. I nodded once. He walked over and hugged her. Not tight, just enough. I watched my son hold his wife and felt something loosen in my chest. We need to talk, he said. All of us. We did, over many nights, over soup and toast and burnt cookies. One night Emma came upstairs with a drawing. It was the house with stick people in every window. One had gray hair and a big smile. Grandma, it said in purple crayon. I miss reading with you, she said. Mummy said, I can ask now. I opened my arms. Come here, sweet girl. She climbed into my lap. Jack followed with his truck. Noah toddled behind making happy noises. We read 3 books. Then 4. Lisa stood in the doorway watching. She didn't say anything. She just smiled. Another night Daniel fixed the porch step that had wobbled for years. I held the flashlight. He hammered. We didn't talk much. When he finished he said, I should have done this sooner. Better late than never, I said. He laughed. The same laugh he had at 10 years old. Lisa started gardening with me on Saturdays. She pulled weeds and asked about the roses. I told her how Thomas planted the first bush the day Daniel was born. She listened. Really listened. One Sunday we all sat down after church. The kids colored at the table. Daniel cleared his throat. Mom, he said, Lisa and I opened a savings account for the rent and for the kids. We want to stay, but we want to do it right. Lisa added, we found a second job for me. Nights at the store. It's not much, but it helps. I looked at them. My son, the grandbabies making rainbows with crayons. I'm proud of you, I said. Both of you. Daniel's eyes got wet. I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. I let her carry the fear alone. Lisa reached for his hand. We both did. We kept talking about money, about rules, about respect, about how family isn't perfect, but it tries. Months passed. The basement became their space. Upstairs stayed mine. The kitchen stayed ours. One evening Lisa knocked on my door. She held a small box. I found this in the attic, she said. I thought you should have it. Inside was Thomas's old watch, the one he wore every day. I thought it was lost. I cleaned it, she said. It still works. I put it on. The weight felt right. Thank you, I said. She smiled. Thank you for letting us stay. I hugged her. The first real hug. She hugged back. Later that night, Daniel came to my room. Mom, he said, I added something to the trust papers. Ruth helped. If anything happens to you, the house goes to the kids. But only if they keep one room for family gatherings. Always. I smiled. Smart boy, he grinned. Learned from the best. The kids still call me Grandma, loud and proud. Jack says Grandma makes the best pancakes. Emma says Grandma tells the best stories. Noah says Gamma and reaches for me every morning. Lisa still helps with dishes. She still calls me Mom. Now it sounds like it belongs. Some nights we all sit on the porch. The roses bloom. The light still flickers in the kitchen, but the heart stays steady. I learned that forgiveness isn't weak. It's the quiet strength that keeps a family whole. If you're listening and you've ever felt pushed out of your own story, know this. You don't have to fight with anger. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is stay. Stay kind, stay calm, stay true. Because love, the real kind, doesn't steal. It builds. Sometimes it just needs a little time to remember how. Thank you for listening. This is Evie Harper signing off from Maple Street, where the light still flickers, but the heart stays steady. I share stories like Evie's every week on my channel. Auntie Bella Speaks, a place for stories, strength, and soul. Come by, subscribe, and let's keep remembering our worth together.